Welcome to Hack the Entrepreneur, the show which reveals the fears, habits, and inner battles behind big-name entrepreneurs and those on their way to joining them. Now here is your host, John Naster.
Hey, this is Hack the Entrepreneur. Thank you so much for joining me again today. I'm your host, John Naster, but you can call me Johnny. My guest today is a writer, connector, and an entrepreneur. My guest spent the past 8 years following his passions, honing his marketing skills, and building businesses for himself and others. After countless different positions at numerous companies, he finally settled upon his latest company, Do, a global online payments company that's making a serious ruckus in the industry. Now, let's hack John Rampton. Get ready for the simplest way to be more productive, organized, and most importantly, to get paid quickly. The all-new FreshBooks makes ridiculously easy accounting software that's completely transformed how freelancers and small business owners deal with their day-to-day paperwork. And it's been redesigned from the ground up and custom built for exactly the way you work. FreshBooks is for owners, not accountants. They design their product for the owners who don't want to learn accounting and instead want to focus on what they love to do. FreshBooks has created a super intuitive tool that makes creating and sending invoices ridiculously easy. You can use FreshBooks to create and send invoices in about 30 seconds. There's no formatting and no formulas, just really simple, clean, professional-looking invoices. Then when you email a client an invoice, FreshBooks can show you whether they've seen it or not, which puts an end to all of the guessing games. There's also a super handy deposit feature, so you can invoice for a payment up front when you're kicking off a project. If waiting for client checks in the mail is slowing down your cash flow, with literally 2 clicks, you can set yourself up to receive online payments. Oh, and your clients will love paying by credit card straight from their invoice. And right now, FreshBooks is offering a 30-day unrestricted free trial to Hack the Entrepreneur listeners. To claim it, I want you just to go to freshbooks.com/hack and enter Hack the Entrepreneur in the How Did You Hear About Us section. That's freshbooks.com/hack. We're back with another episode of Hack the Entrepreneur, and today we have a very special guest. John, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Absolutely my pleasure. Absolutely my pleasure. I think this is going to be a lot of fun.
Me too.
Nice. Let's jump into it. John, as an entrepreneur, can you tell me what is the one thing that you do that you feel has been the biggest contributor to your successes so far?
The biggest contributor to my successes, I would say is helping out others. That's been the biggest contributor overall to my overall successes. Helping others along the way.
Is that, would you say, business and personally?
Yeah, definitely business and personal.
Interesting. Like, have you always been like the person who's out there wanting to help others, or is this something that you kind of struggled in business and then realized you should make this switch?
I think I've always, felt like the more that I help other people, the more that it comes back. So, in the business world, it's just like kind of like charity. The more I give to a charity, the more I find like I get, all this karma back to me. So, it's just helping other people in the business world. It just helps you out, I don't know how to, classify it, but that's what I would say. Yeah.
That's good. I like it. And it's something I think, though, that people sometimes struggle with, right? Like somebody could be listening and sometimes it seems like it's easy. Like, we look at, let's say, Bill Gates, like, yeah, he's giving back. Yeah. He's got billions of dollars. I hope he's giving back. Mm-hmm. But you know what I mean? But like how, and I also fully agree that by giving, that's how you can create businesses and create sort of wealth and all that. Yep. But it's hard sometimes when you don't yet have that success to feel that giving is the thing that's going to help you receive.
Well, it doesn't have to be money. It doesn't have to, I give up a lot of my time. It can be, as much as like, this isn't really the business world, but helping a neighbor move or, helping that old lady cross the street. it doesn't necessarily apply to the business world, but, in general, I feel it's good karma going towards you, and that comes back to you. In the business world, I don't give money to people. I typically give my time and my expertise. So I'm really good at content marketing and online stuff. So I help people out with what skills that I have and what I'm very, very good at. And that helps me gain these amazing relationships. But it hasn't always been that way. A really good friend of mine back in the day, I used to go to the movies every single day, not every single day, every Thursday. During the middle of the day, about noon, I would go to a movie, and I met this guy, and I started helping him out. He's like, yeah, I have this little startup. And I started helping him. And one day he came, he's all, hey, I can't make payroll. Can you help me out? And I was like, oh, you're a really good friend. I ended up giving him a little bit of money. It wasn't a lot of money. It wasn't a great deal of money. Well, that company ended up becoming, it went public 4 years later, wow, for over $1 billion. And that guy now has started another company that's worth almost $3 billion. And he's been like one of my best friends. He gave me stock, he gave me equity, and it all came from a very, very small, like, just opening myself up, helping him with his marketing on the side. I just helped him. And that turned into, multi-millions of dollars for me, but also leveraging tons of different connections. He's helped make intros to other things. Another example of this is I had a college student reach out to me about 4 years ago through my site he was just like, hey, I know you're a little successful, which at the time I wasn't that successful, but more successful than he was. And keep in mind, listeners who are listening to this, any person out there, you are more successful than someone else out there, and you can help anyone else out there. You're more successful at something than someone else. And always keep that in mind, that you can always help somebody out, even if it's just them bouncing off ideas. But going back to this college student, he reached out and he's all, hey, I really need help. And he's all, I'm trying to decide, where to go in my life. And I'm like, well, I'm not really a career coach, but sure, I'd love to mentor you and help you out. Well, I helped him. I, encouraged him. Well, come to find out, we touch base like once every year and a half after that. Come to find out 4 years later, he actually lives in San Francisco and works at a large company. He worked at Twitter, and he called me up and he's all, hey, I just got a job at Twitter. I'm over this. By the way, I just verified your Twitter profile. I want to thank you for all the work you've done. And I was like, oh, wow, that's pretty awesome. I didn't expect that. I didn't want that, but it did come back. And it's these relationships and this help that I just helped him, with his life, bouncing ideas off, bouncing this, and helped him grow. So again, back to your question, it doesn't have to be money. It doesn't have to be billions of dollars that Bill Gates has. It has to do with you as an entrepreneur, helping other entrepreneurs at what you're good at and what they're not.
Yeah, I love it. I love the two things. It doesn't have to be money and the billions of dollars. And then it's like it doesn't have to necessarily go anywhere. And you don't have to be the expert or think of yourself as the expert. You know more than a lot of other people, which is absolutely true. As many people that are in front of you are behind you. It's just how it works out. So you are a true serial entrepreneur. Going through your LinkedIn there's tons of different businesses and companies you've been part of and started, but I know that going through it doesn't always sort of it's not a clear sort of path, right? Those sort of dots, as Steve Jobs said. But looking back, it kind of does. There seems to be this time in every entrepreneur's life when they've realized one of two things, that either they had this calling to change the world in some way, or they found that they simply just could not work for somebody else anymore. So John, could you tell us which side of the fence you're on and then take us back to when that happened?
I don't think there was any specific hey, it has to be at this, or any specific life moment. I've always enjoyed money since I was very, very young. When I was a very, very young kid, I started a candy stand. And, I started this little candy stand, and I loved money. I loved watching my bank account grow. And that was what really fascinated me, was that bank account. Helping people along the way and stuff like that was a very big added benefit, but I loved seeing my bank account grow. So, from a young age, I did that. And then I realized at one point, like I was working for somebody else and I realized, this isn't as fun. And my bank account isn't going up as fast as it was when I was working for myself. So while I was working for someone else, I started building up that along on the side, and I started making money on the side, and I started becoming very, very good at a skill that not many people had, that I was doing at my current job, but I could offer people on the side while I wasn't at work. And that started building up my residual income, and I would help a lot of people. And then what happens is the more I mean, this is all going back to helping people. I help as many people as I can, because most of the time what happens is I'll help somebody and they will come back to me at some point and say, "Hey, I now am making great money and I don't have time to do what you taught me, but I know you're really good at it. Can I hire you to do that?" And that's how I started becoming and getting large amounts of money, coming towards me. Was I did that. And then, if you help somebody else truly in the future, when someone else has that need and they hear about it, they're going to recommend you or talk about you. And it was, again, back to, kind of what you were talking about, it comes back to these two things. For me, it was money, helping people, and I get a little bit bored. So if you look at my background, you can see me bouncing around different ideas and stuff. I get bored after a certain stage of a company. Once a company is, in the making millions of dollars every single month, it gets a little boring for me. So it's not as fun.
So you started as a consultant or freelancer?
Yeah. Yeah. Consultant.
And then you
Yep.
decided to productize it at some point, or?
Yeah. So I started as a consultant, and this was many years back. And I mean, I've always kind of done consulting on the side. I really enjoy the human aspect of it and the different things. But I started consulting. I was working at a hosting company, and I was really, really good at my job. It didn't take me the whole time at work. So I started coming in earlier and leaving earlier so I could work on my own side thing. And I consulted with clients. Then I started realizing, then I quit my job. I was actually earning double outside my job than I was inside my job. Went to my boss and I'm all, "Hey, I love you, but I want to pursue my own thing, obviously to make more money and things." And he was like, "Well, I want you to keep doing the same job, but you can do it from wherever you want and whatever time frame you want." So that was like the most amazing thing ever, because that was like a big consulting client that ended up lasting for like 7 years. But I then took that and started consulting, and consulting was a great way for me to leverage my own skills and what I really enjoyed and do that and help people out. But at the same time, as a consultant, you're only as good as last month. And I started realizing that, consulting, it makes great money. It does great. It's a great lifestyle business, but a longer term plan, if I wanted to make more money, I needed to build a product and then put into action the things that I was doing for other businesses for my own business. So that's when some of my products started arriving and started coming about.
Nice. I like it. And then eventually it led into your new business, which is do.com.
Correct. Yep.
So how did the evolution from starting to create products and then creating this company, which you've now been at for like 2 years?
Correct. Yep.
But do to me seems like it's a big idea, right? It's a big scalable. I mean, do.com in general must have cost you a lot of money.
It was a couple bucks. Yes, it was expensive. It comes back. I was consulting, and while I was consulting, it's very hard still to pay freelancers and contractors. If they're in different parts of the world, for example, if I'm in the US and I'm trying to pay a contractor in India, the majority of Indian people do not have a PayPal account. So it becomes very impossible to pay them. So we started building a system to be able to collect and pay people in different locations in the world. And it was a natural evolution of what we were doing. And we just built a product to make our lives easier. And it became it got to a point where we started having other people come to us and being like, for example, we did credit card processing and merchant accounts. And we're like, "Hey, we're spending a lot of money. We're paying a lot of people, and a lot of people are paying us, and we're paying a lot in fees. So let's just go build a system and work with a bank directly so we can earn a little bit better on our thing. If you're billing out millions of dollars every single month, millions of dollars, a couple percent down saves you, tens of thousands of dollars. So we're like, hey, let's go build it. So we build it. And then we started having our customers coming to us and being like, hey, we like the process and the flow that you guys have built for paying. Can we use that? And we're like, yeah. And then some of their clients started coming to them, and we're like, I think we built something that people, they say they like, they're actually using it. They're making us money. Let's see if we can actually make it into a product. We launched it into a product, and 2 years later, we have over 50,000 customers processing, tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars every single month. And it all came from what we were doing and trying to make ours and our customers' life easier.
It's impressive. And so the scale and sort of magnitude of the idea behind do.com, was there any apprehension from you to go to that sort of scale?
In the beginning, no. In the beginning, it was, I want to make my life easier. And I feel that's what most really good entrepreneurs and some of the best ideas out there are. Hey, I am making my life easier, and those around me's life easier. And what most entrepreneurs then soon realize once people start using it is this could actually attract millions and millions and millions of people and customers. And that's when an idea goes from small to big. I would say some of the bigger companies out there never started like, oh my word, I'm going to change the global force. I'm going to change this. I'm going to do this. No, I'm going to make my life easier and my business and these couple guys easier. And then once they have people paying them money, it's like, oh my word, like this could actually be really, really big and millions of people want this.
Yeah, I like it. And so I'm trying to follow your trajectory. Your trajectory was like, you're right. Like you lose interest in things and you just jump from thing to thing. So you would go from like CEO to founder back to CEO to like marketing person.
Yep.
Do you feel like your sort of trajectory up till this point has put you in place now to have sort of the skills and the confidence to be able to stay ahead of your team as the CEO? Meaning that like, I'm sure you don't think that you know everything as a CEO, but as your team grows and as your company grows, you have to just, like you said, how you have to just think that you are ahead of people. Everybody has to think that.
Yeah.
So how do you?
I would say I actually think a little bit opposite.
Okay.
I try and hire people who are much ahead of me and who cause me to run. Because I'm of that, and I feel a lot of entrepreneurs probably listening to this are very, very similar. I have to be the best. I grew up in Utah, in Salt Lake City, Utah. And while I was there, I was the best at what I did. And nobody else that I knew of in the state was better. And anybody in the networking events, and that's why I moved out to California, was I'm not the best out here. And I like surrounding myself with people that are better than me. And that way I'm always constantly learning and running to keep up with them. So in my business, I always try and hire people a lot better than me so that one, we build each other up as a team. And if you're the best, you want to make sure everybody else is below you and that you're always better than them. So if I hire people that are better than me, it pisses me off. So I'm working as hard as I can to be better than them. And that causes them to work even harder to be the best and better than me. Does that make sense?
It does. And so you're always hopefully pushing yourself almost each day or each hour.
Correct.
To be like the best version of yourself yet.
Yeah. There's a million other people out there. And especially in the startup world, if we're not working harder, faster, or smarter than someone else, they're going to overtake us and beat us. So if I'm not hiring people that are constantly better than me and extremely push me in ways that I wouldn't have even thought possible, I can't grow and we can't compete in the way that we need to. So that would be my recommendation for people out there is always hire people that are far smarter than you and better than you in every way, shape, and form, because they'll push you and make you truly better.
Were you coached into this? Like it must have been all I'm saying is that it must have been, I'm sure there's lots of people like you were in Utah who either push to be the best where they are, or they are the best where they are, but it's not that you get complacent, but you don't want to give that up to then want to go somewhere where you are now the small fish.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I've surrounded myself. I mean, going back to that one story where I met that guy in a movie theater and I became friends, and that was my movie theater, my millions in a movie theater, how I've made money. But, he became a very big mentor of mine. And I have several other, mentors of mine that really encourage this type of behavior on me. And, it pisses me off that several of them are multi-billionaires, and they weren't when I met them. Keep in mind, this guy was probably worth negative like 2 million when I met this person. So, and now he's worth probably like 2 billion, and the other ones are worth a couple billion. It's crazy when you have that happen. But I think they taught me to really push myself. And like one of them, that guy, taught me really push myself and hire only the best. And from there, it took myself and I started learning. And that's where I really got the motivation inside me, and that to hire only the best and to work with only the best.
I love it. I love it. And I love the idea of it. And I love that you have sought out or been however you got these mentors, but then you allow yourself. The way I said coached was because some people just truly aren't coachable.
Yep. They
don't even realize that they have these people that could potentially be mentors that could take them crazy places around them. But
yeah.
They're so caught up in their own nonsense.
Yeah. I want to actually explain to the readers how I did get these mentors, because I feel that's a really important thing. They didn't come from me paying someone. I actually have never paid any of my mentors money. They didn't come from me reaching out and doing that. They came from other people. Like the one Josh James, he owns Domo. He founded Omniture. That came from doing something and going out of my way and helping someone that I saw struggling in a certain area. The other one of my other mentors came from helping someone. I was helping a business owner. He reached out and he was like, oh my word, I need help with this. So I helped him. He became a client of mine, and he referred me to somebody else who needed help, who this person became my mentor. The other mentor I had was an introduction through someone, a very young student who I was helping, who said, oh my word, here's my grandpa. I think you could really learn something from him, and I'm learning from you. They all came from other people that I was helping out along the way. So it wasn't me paying, it wasn't me doing this, it was me helping other people, and those people introducing me because they wanted to, not because I wanted to, because they feel it would help me out. So the more you help other people and they realize what you're going for and what your life goals are, the more they'll try and help you out with those, because you've truly helped them with an aspect in their life that they're not used to.
Do you actively now try and, when somebody needs help and maybe you aren't the right person for it, do you try and push them in the direction of somebody else that you know?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yep.
And are you actively, or do you want to be mentored to other people now?
Oh yeah, I mentor a lot of people. I would say any person who truly reaches out through my website that needs help, I'll take a 15 to 30 minute call with anyone that needs help, that truly needs help. Not just, hey, I want you to give me money, or hey, I want this, or, a genuine interested person that is looking for life help or this. I love helping. I mean, it comes back to me tenfold.
I love it. I love it. This has been an absolute blast, John. I want to wrap up on one final question for you, if I could.
Yeah.
It's this idea I'm working with calling the entrepreneurial gap, which seems to be this gap that we live in as entrepreneurs, as dreamers. We always personally, I think, put our successes in front of us, meaning that in 3 months, when you hit that next metric with due, that's when you'll see yourself as successful. Or in 6 months, when you stand on that stage, whatever they are, the moment before you hit those, you and I both know that you're going to set bigger, loftier ones into the future.
Right.
From the outside, you look super successful. From the inside, it's always in front of you. Especially, you have people around you that had less than you before and now have billions of dollars. So these things happen, right?
Yeah.
And so we end up sometimes in this gap where no matter what we accomplish, we never see ourselves as successful. You've accomplished a ton. You've been through a lot. Highs, lows, wins, and losses. I would love it if you could stop, turn, and look behind you right now. But tell me how you feel about the whole entire journey up until today.
The whole journey up until today, I've had my successes and my epic failures. I have been very successful. I've sold a couple different companies. I've crashed a couple different companies. I'm very fortunate. I've made a lot of money. I've been very, very successful. Looking back, I'm very happy with my life. I've been able to accomplish things that some people will never be able to accomplish. I mean, hoorah! I'm doing awesome. So yeah,
that's awesome. That's cool, man. So now we've got to talk about it in passing, but do.com. I think that it satisfies a very, very urgent and huge need for a lot of entrepreneurs and people dealing with business, especially on the web. So could you now give sort of the pitch to the listener?
Yeah, I mean, we're do.com, DUE.com. We're a payments company. So we're helping you collect and receive payments online in a quicker, easier fashion. Our goal is to make it so that anyone, anywhere can pay anybody in a very short period of time, and it clears the next day.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Do.com is the website. Your personal site, johnrampton.com?
Correct. Yep.
JohnRampton.
Correct.
You can check out, he writes a ton over there. As he has mentioned, he's a content marketer from the very beginning. He's a writer and an editor as well as an entrepreneur. So there's some great stuff over there. And plus you're very, very active and have a ton of followers over at Twitter at John Rampton. But I will link to johnrampton.com and some social media for you. I'll put it on Hack the Entrepreneur on the show notes. So when you're done working out, walking your dog, whatever it is you're doing right now, it'll be there waiting for you. John, once again, thanks so much, man, for taking the time to share with me. Thanks for being so open. Please just keep doing what you're doing, man, because it's awesome and inspiring to watch.
Hey, thank you very much.
FreshBooks makes ridiculously easy to use cloud accounting software that helps over 10 million entrepreneurs like you and I deal with the headache of paperwork. Things like formatting and sending invoices, making sure that you get paid on time, keeping track of receipts, and staying organized for the dreaded tax season. For your 30-day unrestricted free trial of the cloud accounting software used by over 10 million self-employed entrepreneurs, go to freshbooks.com/hack. When you see the How Did You Hear About Us section, enter Hack the Entrepreneur, and you will get your 30-day free trial. That's freshbooks.com/hack. John, thank you so much once again for stopping by. Thanks for sharing so openly. I really, really, truly do appreciate it. And I hope you out there listening, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. John's a smart guy, taking on big things now with Do. And I admire his energy and the way he sort of bounced from so many different projects and jobs and businesses before settling onto Do. And I like how he kind of owns that, the way he doesn't try and avoid it or try and make it like it's not what it is. He's just like, I get bored easy and I move on to other things. And that's cool. If that's what it takes for you to do what's necessary to get where you want to go, then by all means, go for it. And I admire sort of the confidence behind that. So we've reached the point in the show where I need to go back and I need to listen. I need to listen as you did originally. So I went back and I listened to the conversation between John and I. Then I went back and I listened again. And then I went back and I listened again. That final time through the conversation, I'm not sure how I missed it those first couple times, but I did. But then it struck me. It was there. It was that one thing. Did you get it? Did you hear it? Let's do it. Let's find the hack.
I grew up in Utah, in Salt Lake City, Utah. And while I was there, I was the best at what I did. And nobody else that I knew of in the state was better. And anybody in the networking events, and that's why I moved out to California, was I'm not the best out here. And I like surrounding myself with people that are better than me. And that way I'm always constantly learning and running to keep up with them.
And that's the hack. John. I love this. I don't just love this for the confidence that you are saying that you were the best that there was at what you did in Utah, a whole state. I love sort of what that takes, and that's awesome. But then this idea of moving to another place where you are no longer the best. So it's irrelevant to me where you live geographically, sorry. It's completely irrelevant. It's not like you can think, whoa, John, I can't move to California. Whatever. That's not the point. The point is surrounding yourself with people who are better than you. Right? There's that famous sort of business quote. I can't remember who it was. It's kind of irrelevant, I guess, but it's, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And I love that. It's so true. You need to surround yourself with people who are better than you, who are smarter than you, who know the things that you want to know, and who are accomplishing the things that you want to accomplish. When I say I do not care where you are geographically, because it doesn't matter. You don't have to necessarily sit in the same room as people. Yes, obviously, if you can move yourself to a better place, a better city, then of course it's going to be even better. But I don't want you to use that as a crutch to not do this, right? You can surround yourself with smart people. Join a mastermind group. Join any number of things, I guess. You can find groups of people everywhere on the internet who are interested in accomplishing things that you want to be accomplishing. You can talk in forums, and you can find people within your city by reaching out if you need to find those people. This absolutely can work, and you need to do this. Don't be the person that's furthest along and you're trying to pull people along with you. Have people in front of you that you can run to catch up to, because this is what will push you. Actually, this is not only what will push you to want to attain those things because you already want to attain them, but it's going to show you a clear path to getting there. John talked about this lots. He's got friends around him that now have billion-dollar companies. This gives him not only the network connections for that, but a clear path on how to take his company to that realm. It's not a completely foreign, crazy thing. If you do not have anybody in your life that is running a successful business, surround yourself with successful business people in your community. Hang out with them. Take them out for coffee. Take them out for a beer. Whatever it takes. Do that. And if you have a business that is successful, but you want to scale it to bigger places, find people that have already scaled and go and hang out with those people. Then run to catch up. John, thank you so very, very, very much. All right. Well, that was a lot of fun. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you for stopping by. I want to thank you for taking the time to hang out with me today and listen to me chat with John. And I just know you have a ton of options out there for podcasts. And it's really, really cool that you decide to stop by and spend this half hour together with me. I really, truly do appreciate it. It's been fun. HackTheEntrepreneur.com is the website. You can stop by there and check out John's show notes if you would wish. And yeah, it's been great. So thank you. And please, until next time, keep hacking the entrepreneur.